Hi, my friends, it's Mrs. Mott. I get to talk to you for a few minutes about some things that are near and dear to my heart. Animals, of course. Well, it's an exciting time of year for Paul J. Ballou because this is the time of year when we come together as a school community and we show our kindness and our compassion for the animals waiting for forever homes at the Islip Animal Shelter. So thank you to those that are sending those items in. They are wonderful and needed, and the animals will thank you for it. You might actually ask yourself, how did the animals wind up at the Islip Animal Shelter? Well, I'm here to tell you how. Back in 2010, my sister and I started Lost and Found Pets of Long Island. So we spoke to many, many people that actually lost a pet: cats, dogs, birds, iguanas, rabbits, a skunk, all types of animals. Anyway, we learned a thing or two, and we learned what's really important for our pets. Well, one of the most important things that you can actually give your pet, aside from food and water and shelter and love, is actually ID, identification. All pets need ID. What do we mean by ID? A simple collar and tag with your dog's name on it and telephone number or address, so that your dog, should he go missing and found by a nice person, could actually be returned to you and your family. Another form of identification, which is a permanent form of ID, is actually a microchip. A microchip is a tiny rice-sized disc, like a computer disc, and it's blank when it's inserted into the dog's neck through a very small needle. You know, when you go to the doctor and you get a shot, it's just a quick little pinch and then it's all over. But anyway, a microchip is then registered with all of the pet's needed information, such as your family name, your parents' name, the pet's name, the address where the pet lives, the telephone number to your parents, home phone numbers, cell phone numbers, anything that is a way to get that pet reunited with you is needed and put on that microchip registration. Okay, so now that we've established that, let's talk about how do these pets go missing? Well, here we can see a picture of a dog running. We'll talk about some of the ways that he could have escaped. And here we see a cat doing what cats love to do best. They slip in and out of tiny, small, little places. Digging. Digging, my friends, is one of the ways that dogs go missing. Now let's think about this. You're in school all day and you're doing your thing, working really hard to get good grades and learn. Your parents are at work all day. Everybody comes home at the end of the day, and there's your dog who's sitting there so excited and really happy to see you. First thing that we all do, of course, is to let our dog out so they can go and do their business in the yard, right? So the dog gets so happy. He's running in your yard. He's excited. He's breathing in all the fresh air and he's sniffing and he's checking things out. And he's really preoccupied doing his thing. Then all of a sudden, that kind of wears off and he finds himself alone again. Because now you're doing your homework and maybe your parents are doing things to get ready for dinner. So, what does your pet do? He has all of this energy because he's been sitting by himself all day and he just has to like get it out somehow. So maybe he has a friend on the other side of the fence and he starts digging because he's really excited and eager to get to his friend. So as you can see here, we have this little white dog who is digging under the fence to maybe see his girlfriend on the other side. And we have Mr. Husky, who just has tons and tons of energy, who's just digging because he's curious to see what's on the other side of the fence. So we want to make sure that when we do let our dogs out, we give them stimulation by playing with them, whether it's fetch or throwing a ball, a stick, or taking them for a long walk. We want to pay attention to them, give them the love that they deserve because we've been out of the house all day. Another way that pets go missing is a hole in the fence. If there's a hole in your fence, your pet will find it. Your job is to go in the yard every once in a while, maybe every 2 weeks or so, and just make sure that there are no loose pickets in the fence that the dog could have found, could have pounded on by jumping because he hears something on the other side of the fence. So oftentimes they'll stand on their hind legs and pound with their front paws. Just make sure that there are no holes underneath the fence that the dog has already dug that he can get through. So, once in a while, take a walk around your yard and just make sure that the fence is still sturdy, especially after a storm. We can have broken tree limbs that knock pickets down and fences down. So, you want to be sure that your dog is safe in the yard. Over the fence. Look at this, my friends. You would think that these dogs are magicians. They're not. They just have a lot of energy and they're really curious to see what's going on in the world. When we leave them in the backyard alone, unattended, these are the things that go through their mind. Who's on the other side of the fence? What do I smell? Who can I chase? They're dogs. Okay, so they do what they do best. This German Shepherd here, he found a shorter fence underneath where he can actually wedge up in between these two fences here and boom, he's over. These two little dogs, where there's a will, there's a way, my friends. They literally are magicians. They're jumping and climbing right over that fence. So we want to make sure we check on our dogs often and we don't leave them alone too long where they can get into trouble and jump over a fence. Through an open door or open gate. If I had $1 for every time an owner came to me and said that their dog ran through a gate or the door, I would be a very rich person. This is probably the most popular way that pets go missing, dogs and cats alike. Okay, as you can see here, the dog's on the right. If the doorbell rings, you go to open it to see who's on the other side, and they bolt out. The middle picture here with the little dog Bear, that happens to be my pup, who's looking outside of the gate. Maybe you're in the yard with your friends and you're just doing your thing. You're having a grand old time and it's summertime and the ice cream man comes and you hear the ice cream man and you run outside because you're really excited. Mom promised you she'd buy you an ice cream cone and you forget to lock the gate or shut the gate behind you. Well, guess what? Your dog is going to come to that gate and probably want to find you and chase you, and he could escape very easily. So we want to make sure that the gates are always shut right behind us, that doors are locking correctly. And before we let them out, just take a peek. Is the gate shut? Is the gate locked? And then let your pet out. Windy days. Windy days, my friend, equals shelter strays. Now, this simply means that when there is a very high windy day, the wind can simply blow the gate open. That's it. And it happens all the time. Shelters get filled with lots of animals that have gone missing because the wind simply blew the gate open. So, especially when we know that there's a storm coming, if we have a gate that, maybe blows open in the wind, we want to do something to secure that gate and that door so that it doesn't open when the wind blows. We certainly don't want to see our pet wind up in the shelter just because the wind blew the gate open. So, make sure that your gates and doors are shut secure, especially on windy days. Stolen from a vehicle. You know, we don't want to think about it, but it's such a cruel thing. But there really, sometimes there really aren't nice people in the world. Not everybody is nice and kind like all of us at Paul J. Ballou. So oftentimes, if you come home from work and you see your pup and you realize that, maybe mom forgot something that she needs to make for dinner, an ingredient or so for a recipe. And the dog looks so sad because now you're leaving again. And he's like, hey, I just sat here all day waiting for you and now you're leaving again. Can you take me? Can you take me? And they're giving you those sad eyes. Well, you know what, my friends? It's better that he has sad eyes, okay? And he waits for you safe and secure in your home rather than in your vehicle where he could be stolen. Now, why do people steal dogs? There's lots of reasons why people do things. Some of them just don't make sense to us, but we don't even want to think about that. So, what we want to do is prevent this from happening. We want to keep our pets home, safe and secure in our house, waiting for us, where they'll be just as happy when we get home. Okay, so keep your pets out of your vehicle. It could also be dangerous for them health wise if it's a hot day or a cold day and the temperatures just are, can really harm them, be harmful. Walking without a leash. This is something that drives me crazy. Um, a lot of owners take pride sometimes when they think that their dog is just so obedient and that their dog will most certainly walk beside them. And maybe that dog is obedient, which means that he's a good listener. Um, but 9 times out of 10, there might be something that could draw that pet to run away. Whether he sees another dog up like a couple of feet away from him, or he hears children playing, or he sees a squirrel or a raccoon, whatever the case may be. If he sees something that's interesting to him and he's not on a leash, my friends, guess what? He's going to run. So you don't want to do this. No matter how much your dog is a good listener, you want your dog safe and secure on a leash as you're walking them outside. My friends, you want to help your dog and your pet find a way back to you. Okay, that means arming them, empowering them, giving them a voice. By giving them a voice, that means you are giving them identification. Okay, this little pup right here, he did have a collar on, but he didn't have a tag when he went missing. As you can see, this was a very happy ending. This owner was very sad because this pup had been missing for a couple of weeks and managed to find his way back to the owner with a little help from Lost and Found Pets of Long Island. She's so happy, and so is the dog. You can see the dog is actually hugging her. So this was a very happy ending. We want to make sure your pets have ID. Every day, my friends, is Pet ID Awareness Day. Microchip your pets and make sure they have proper ID tags. Give your pet a voice. Help eliminate shelter strays by chipping them and tagging them. In this video, you will see pets that Lost and Found Pets of Long Island, my sister and I, and the community that we did create, actually were instrumental in helping to be reunited with their owners. They were all pets that had gone missing. Enjoy. I don't know how you found me. I really do not care. I'm just glad you came like that. Now let's get out of here. The fight begun, and we just won the race that we had started. The fight begun, just one on one, since the day we parted. Now you've come back to tell me how much I mean to you. As if I didn't know already. Did you think I was a fool? The fun begun, and we just won the race that we had started. The fun begun, just one on one, since the day we parted. So that's it, my friends. I hope you learned a thing or two. And I hope you'll go back and tell your families and your friends that pet identification is so important and all of the important tips you learned here today. It's been fun talking to you guys. If you have any questions, you know where to find me.